I've been able to show you the younger generation that it's okay to be emotional as men, and especially as a black man, like you can be emotional. That doesn't make you less of a man. You know, you don't have to be with a bunch of women or even, you know, do all these things that that the world tells us to do that's around us, that you can be.
Camren Stepter, welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You know, it's been an exciting day. It's been an exciting day. I want you to first start by introducing yourself to folks. Tell them what you want them to know about you before we jump into these masks. All right?
All right, I got you.
Right.
I'm Camren Stepter. I go to Kentucky State University. I'm an education major. My classification is a junior. I'm from Oakland, California. And right now I serve as the president of Brothers Redefining the Odds on my campus.
Brother, say the name of the organization again.
Brothers Redefining Odds.
Okay, that's a powerful name. And you're the president.
I am.
Okay, well, I look forward to hearing more about that as we get into these masks. Tell me, we're going to make a mask together. You have a piece of paper handy?
I do.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to have you do is fold the paper in half. You're going to fold the paper in half. And we're going to use the left side and the right side as two different sides. All right. So on the left side, what you're going to do first is the first step is to draw a mask. So fold it like the long way. So you have two half sides. And so on the piece of paper, you have the left side and the right side. On the left side is the front of the mask. So you just do it sideways, kind of like sideways. So then you'll have the left side and the right. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So on the left side is going to be the front of the mask. And I want you on the left side to draw a mask. Whatever you draw, it's going to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Write it down.
Okay. And now we're going to go to the back of the mask, which is the right side. And the right side are three things that you don't usually let people see, that you don't usually talk about, but three that you feel comfortable sharing today.
I understand.
Maybe you want to, but you haven't found the place yet, right? It may be things that you talk about only in special times, right? When you feel enough trust, right? So the goal of it is, it may be not something that you just put on a t-shirt, right? But with the right person, you'll share it.
And there's one more. I'm trying to think of one more. Should give one more.
Well, if you got two, we stay with two, and maybe one will come up as we go through it. Yeah. So let's do this. We're gonna decide. We're gonna share our masks, right? And you as a guest, you get to decide who goes first. So either you want to go first, or you want me to go first, but it's your choice.
You can go first.
Want me to go first? Okay. So I'll share the front, and then I'll ask you to share the front, and then I'll share the back.
All right.
Okay. All right. So here's what I drew. I drew that as the mask for today. And the words I wrote on the front, I actually ended up writing a fourth one because I wrote serious, hardworking, funny, and then I wrote caring at the bottom. And caring I've only written a few times because I think even though it's real, I think the things I share the most of is like serious, hardworking. I try and be funny. I try and make things light. I try and make things light. I like laughing. I enjoy laughing. I think sometimes the serious. I mean, I'm back in this work mode of like a lot of things going on, a lot of big projects coming. So I'm like serious and hardworking. I spend a lot of time in that world. Funny from time to time, but and deep down, the reason I do all the hard work is because I really care about my community. I care about the challenges young men are facing, but oftentimes the caring, it's not where it starts. It's not where I think I lead with that, but I think sometimes it's hard to show it. And sometimes it looks different. My caring is like, if I'm mentoring a young man and I get on his case, it's because I care. So you may feel it as pressure, you may feel it as being mean, but deep down it's because I really want him to have a amazing life or an amazing future or less challenges or problems. And I think sometimes trying to root it in the caring side first seems like it misses the mark sometimes, or it gets overlooked. And I think I learned that as a teacher, and you saw me as an administrator, so I was in my hard hat wearing days. It was like, get yourself to class. Like, I don't know what you're doing over here. Like, so most times people didn't see the caring side because it didn't lead, right? It wasn't like, hey, how you doing? Why are you not in class? It was a different tone. Maybe for some people that looks like caring, but for some people it looked like just a mean person, right? And so that's the front of my mask. So,
all right, so my mask is a little different because I kind of did it. It looks a little odd. I was trying to make I'm gonna give you an example. I was trying to make one of them. Robin, he has a little one like this. I tried to make it like that.
Okay. Well, just show us the front. Just show us the front for now. Just show us the front.
I'm gonna fold it in half. Show the side.
Yeah. There you go.
Here's the side of it. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Okay.
But what I wrote was something I show is faith, grace, and love. For me, I show faith. First, I'm gonna just talk about love aspect. For me, I believe I'm not like a lot of people. I try my best to show love within everything I do. One thing that I want to get into is seminary after college. I want to get to seminary school. I feel like I've been led to do so. So for me, I try to do a lot of things with love, grace, and faith. Just for me and my beliefs, just understanding that my foundation. The other day, I gave that quick little testimony about who I was and everything. And for me, and being the leader I am on my campus, just showing the younger students the same thing, showing them things that not everybody's going to always have to be mean. You don't always have to be rude, or just showing them that just what it takes to be a leader and understand of what it looks like to have grace. That not everybody's perfect, and that you're going to mess up. You're going to slip up. You're going to have mistakes. You're in college. Things. You're not going to always get the best grade, or you're not going to always wake up and go to class. But understanding of what that looks like, of having the acceptance of that. So.
Yeah, that was powerful. I when I saw that pop up on my IG feed, I was like, oh wow, there's so much more to you than I know, right? That I knew. And I think I heard you say that at the beginning when we were talking about. So like, for folks who are listening to this conversation, Camren and I met each other about what, 2015?
Yep, 2015.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you were a sixth grader. You were a seventh grader, right? I was the vice principal at your middle school, Montero Middle School. And maybe the story even goes back even further, because I met you in middle school, and ironically, I went to middle school with your dad.
Yep.
So even more so than meeting you in the sixth grade, I went to sixth and seventh grade with your dad. So, what a small world, but also what a wild turn of events, that we have connected again. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And so maybe in this conversation that we're having right now, as we're jumping into this mask and eventually you'll share some of what you shared on that post, because I think that it was very powerful, and I think I resonated with it quite a bit, and maybe I'll say more about that in a second. So I'll show the back of my mask, and then you can share the back, and then let's go where we need to go. Yeah,
most definitely.
Okay, so here's the back. This is the stuff that we don't talk about much, and I have 4 here again just because it's the day we're at. So I wrote fear of failure, childhood trauma, worry, and I wrote negative self-talk. I think I'm gonna focus on. So my mind says talk about childhood trauma, but also I want to start with but maybe I'm also avoiding it. I think I really would rather avoid it, but it's really deeply connected to what I heard you share. So I'll be more vulnerable than maybe I'm sometimes courageous enough to do. And so I experienced a lot of chaos in the home growing up. My mom did the best she could by herself. She got married when I was like 12, 13 to a guy who was not very nice, just pretty mean, and so like going home was not exciting. Going home was not what I looked forward to. You know what I'm saying? If I could go to my grandfather's house and spend the night many nights, I would stay there. If I could go to my godmother's house and stay there, like I just wanted to spend the night at everybody else's house. I just didn't really want to be at home. And I think that, when I became an administrator, when I would meet young people who were going through stuff at school, I always wondered how many of them were just carrying baggage of stuff that they were carrying from home. I mean, luckily for me, middle school, I was not doing good academically, but when I got to high school, I had transformed into like focusing on education. It was my escape. It was my escape from home. I was old enough. I could stay out longer. I stayed away from home as much as possible. But I think those are the things that people don't see, right? We operate in the world and we're doing all these things. We're high performing people. Oh boy. But sometimes they don't know that we're carrying all this baggage, So that's what's really real for me. And that's what's happening behind my mask usually in the behind the scenes.
It's my turn, right?
Yes, if you're ready.
All right. Now, yeah. For me, something I don't really show is my past self. I try my best not to really show that, because I know for me, I've been made new into the person I am today. So one thing I try my best to do is because I believe I'm no longer I know I'm not the same person. Is not allowing myself to be that person that I was in my past, that angered person, that person filled with trauma, that person that was stuck up on things that happened that I blamed everybody else for, instead of taking my own accountability for my actions. And even similar with past situations, just no longer that I fear to talk about it. I understand that everybody needs to hear about that past. For example, for me, in my testimony, I'll share that for people who need to hear it, rather than people who just want to hear a story. It's the difference of a testimony and a story. For me, it's a part of my life that happened. I went through a similar thing, and same for me. My mom is my mother and my grandfather are one of my two heroes. I have a few of them, but just my mom's having being who she is being. My mom, for example, has lupus. I grew up my mom being sick and everything, and even going through, she went through my stepfather, just always waking up, never complaining, always working through her mistakes, and always being there for us as a kid, and having 4 kids and still taking care of us, even with her being sick, even with her not feeling well, even with my stepfather being who he was. She always worked hard. She always continued to just strive and then do well. You see where I'm at, and it's only because of the grace of God and my mom just fighting, you know what I mean? Same with my grandfather, just supporting her and understanding, in middle school, of course, where I met you, I wasn't the best place even then. Even though I was young, I was troubled, I don't know if you remember, but I was a very troubled kid. Like, I remember getting in trouble all the time in the office with Mr. What was his name?
Pac-Man.
Yep. I was always in his office. It was always something new, or there was a fight, or me just being a class clown, me just looking for that escape that I felt like at the time I didn't have, and having to wear that mask. And for me, that's what my mask mainly was in school, just not having that opportunity to kind of take it off, because I didn't feel like I had a place to, I didn't have a place to be myself. So having the chance to now be in college and where I am today, I don't really have to have my mask on anymore, because I have that acceptance of knowing now who I am, and finding my new identity just in Christ, and just being around the people I've been blessed to be around in my school, the faculty, the school. So I've been able to show you, the younger generation, that it's okay to be emotional as men, and especially as a black man, like, you can be emotional. That doesn't make you less of a man. The same way I have mentees now that I tell them the same thing of, you don't have to be with a bunch of women, or even, do all these things that that the world tells us to do, that's around us, that you can be so much more than what they make you. You don't have to be into a box that the world puts you into, and that's the one thing I've realized, is not just fitting into the box that everybody tries to put me into, as being a black man from Oakland, California.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, imagine to go from where we grew up from Oakland. How, did you grow up going to church? Was that a thing that
I did not. So it's crazy for me. I remember going a few times here and there as a kid, maybe like 3-4 times, but that's something my father we never really went to church. Like, well, I'm never alone with my father went to church. My mom took me a few times, but I grew up with my pops more. So, there was a lot of courts back and forth, a whole lot of just that type of stuff. So, when I lived with my dad most of my adolescence, from about 5 to about 14 when I moved from Oakland, California, and moved out of Oakland to rural Colorado. I lived with my dad until I moved. So, yeah, no, I didn't grow up in church. I found that faith in college, actually. Like I said in my testimony, from my actions and even after high school, just being the person I was being respectful and understanding to what my mom has went through, taking care of 3 kids, even my stepdad abandoning us because he left. My little brother's 12, he doesn't have a father figure. He has a father figure, but he doesn't have a father in his life. His father left, so me having that responsibility of me having my father, but showing him what it means to just be a man has really drawn me closer to the faith. And then just going through what I went through with my moms and what I've been through in my life and what I've seen, just even like I said, being from California.
Camren, I want you to say that last sentence again. Do me a favor. I want you to turn your mic off for a second and turn it back on. It was giving some feedback, and I want people to hear what you just said. That last sentence.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me check something on my end. Give me 1 second, because I want to make sure that was powerful. I can hear it through it, but it was giving me a little scratchiness. So give me a second. Let me make sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It just started doing it. It wasn't doing it at the beginning. Let me make sure it's not just my speakers. Give me 1 second. You're saying something really powerful for people who listen to this episode, right? Like a young man going through life and challenges and barriers and finding one solution that you thought was the right path, right? And then realizing that wasn't the solution. And what many young people, and definitely you probably meet young people all the time, and the young men you're mentoring in your program, they may run to those things, those escapes. And in the moment, it feels like it's the right thing, right? It feels like this is what I should be focused on. This is what I should be doing. And I think it can easily be the thing that is trying to tell them that this is not, like, the easy out is not the right way, right? And I hope, I don't want people to miss what you're saying around that. So, I am getting a little feedback, but I want to, just have you, I'm sorry I had to stop you, because I was like, it was getting good and I wanted to make sure we heard you. So, do you have with you any earphones, any headphones?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just have you pick up where you think you left off. And, you were talking about that, after that journey of like going from, rural Colorado to then going to college and then sitting on your sister's couch after something had happened. That's where you were at in the story, and we're just going to trust that it's going to what needs to be heard is going to be heard. So I thank you for me.
Of course not. Like I said, I was sitting on my sister's couch and just blaming everybody else for my actions and what I was doing. And it was just understanding that I was angry at everything, and instead of trying to figure out what was going on. Like I said, being in that situation, I continued to blame everybody else for everything that was going wrong into my life. Instead of understanding how hard my mom worked, I didn't appreciate what she had done for so long. I appreciate the love she had, the sacrifice. I didn't realize it. For me, sitting there that day, when I finally gave my life to Christ, it was just, I was lost. I had been angry for so long about and just blaming everybody else for so many situations that had happened that I had to accept it, and give grace, forgive for a bunch of things. I actually, which is funny, I called my stepfather about a few months ago on Father's Day and wished him happy Father's Day, which was for me powerful because I gave him, even if he didn't accept it, was giving him the opportunity to know that I forgive his actions and that I understand that he made wrongs, but I also understanding that he's not perfect. Understanding that everybody goes through something. Like you said, everybody has a mask. Everybody has a testimony. It's just not everybody has been blessed. Not everybody has been blessed to me, but not everybody has been courageous enough to share that and accept their story, of what it is. So for me, I called him and let him know that I forgave him and that I may not understand why he did what he did, but I understand that he made his choices out of fear, out of anger, and out of resentment towards maybe himself. And, he was speechless. So it was just that right there, just having that opportunity to do that gave me the room to just forgive him for his actions and what he did to my mother and to my family, because I could sit here angry at the world and, go home and advise somebody how they do back home. But instead, just taking that and coming to school and just working my hardest, working my hardest every day to just succeed in school just shows the testament of who I am and who I became.
Man, I'm very proud of you, brother.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. I know because in this work that we see, and definitely as an educator, as a mentor, as a administrator, and now as running this nonprofit supporting definitely our young men, I see so many of them run to the easy solutions, the solutions that the world says, oh, this will make you feel better. This will make the pain go away. And I think, and some run and they have to figure out the hard way. Some, they won't listen to reason. They won't listen to logic. They won't listen to good advice. And sadly, some of them have to run that way and crash into the wall before they do enough damage so they say, oh, this is actually, it isn't working. Some don't make their way back from the crash. And I'm sad about that as well. But, thank you for the work you did and the revelation that's continued to come to you as a young man who's saying, you know what, I have decided to give my life to God and to say I'm going to, and so I appreciate that. And I'm not saying I appreciate you for doing your work for your faith. I'm saying thank you for sharing the story about it, because I think so many young people are like, when am I going to find a way out of this? And I think it's hard sometimes to even help explain it, because sometimes people, they're waiting to see it, and you have to get to the feeling of it, right? Like, you can't always explain it. Look, there's this magic that's going to happen at the end of this tunnel, right? There's something at the end of this, but if you make a choice and switch it up, so thank you for that.
Of course.
One of the things I would love to talk to you about is this mentoring program, or the brotherhood. Say the name of your program again.
Brothers Redefining Odds.
Yeah. Tell me about the program, Brothers Redefining the Odds, is what I heard you say the name of the program. Did you start this program? How did you become a part of it?
What happened was somebody reached out to me about being the president of the organization, because there wasn't a lot of people over it. There's bro and sis on our campus, but they reached out to me because of my community service of what I do on campus, my outreach, and just the things I do on my campus. And they feel like I'd be best to bring the organization back to campus, because it kind of had went to a little dry part of it, where a lot of people weren't in the organization no more. So what Brothers Redefining Odds is and what I want it to be is a lot different. I love the name, but I actually want to change it, which is kind of crazy. So what I'm planning to do is meet with a fellow brother of mine and change the name to actually Scholars Outreach Program of Tomorrow.
So the program right now is led by you. You have a leadership team, and then you are going. So the vision is that as you redevelop the program, you're going to. Is it going to stay on your campus, or is it going to go reach? Is going to do more work in the? Is it going to be still the same program on campus, or is it going to be a brand new?
It's going to be a brand new thing. It's just going to have the foundation of what Brother Redefining Odds was, because I want to have an organization for not just males, but for females as well, to give the opportunity to just build, have the females apart. Because instead of it being two different separate organizations that collide together, or they just have one big organization, it gives us the opportunity to just coincide together and help out people, Just like I said, I do the community pickup. That'll be part of it. It'll be a name on it. Just give people the opportunity. Community service hours while just helping as well.
And I heard you say something about getting more folks into education. Is that right? Is that what I heard the part of the goal is?
Yes, to get into education for a lot of these kids that can't read and write or don't have tutors to help them with their homeworks, because their parents may be overworking and don't have time to be at home, or their parents are, their first generation Americans or anything.
All right. Well, however I can support in that, you let me know, and I'll make the first outreach and let Mr. Pac-Man know that you're doing so much better, that you're not sitting in no principal's office anymore, that you're leading your own organization on your college campus. So keep up the good work, brother. So nice to see you and talk to you. And next time we talk, we're going to talk on the phone with some good service. And I don't know if you can hear me okay, but I want to make sure that I'm only a phone call away if you need something.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Cam and I, we shed our masks here publicly. You don't have to share yours publicly. You can share yours anonymously at millionmask.org. Join us as we approach serving 100,000 people. So far, we're getting close. By the end of October, we'll be at over 100,000 people served through this movement. And we invite you to make a mask with us. Cam, good to see you today. And take care of yourself. Be well, brother. Bye, everybody. See you soon.